Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. And today, I want to celebrate my 376th episode, aka my 2-year anniversary of BNA Sports Talk. I've been on YouTube for about 9 years now, believe it or not. But yeah, so I've been doing BNA Sports Talk for 2 years. Thank you for all the support. And as a homage to my first episode, I did a top 7 list. So this one, I'm going to do a top 7 NFL teams. This is not a power rankings. These are what teams I think are the top 7 teams. Not really Super Bowl odds per se, but so these are my Vegas style power rankings of the NFL. That's what I did in my first video, and that's what I'm going to do now. So number 7 on my list is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, why do I have them number 7? I think there's a tier gap here between like 8, 9, and 10. I think they're a little bit better than like the Browns, the Colts. I think they're a tier ahead of those teams. Now, Tom Brady, Bruce Arians have struggled as far as chemistry, I think, a little bit, but I think now going into it, the Buccaneers are going to get a little bit of momentum coming here. The defensive backs haven't really been playing that well over the past couple of games. That's what I was worried about. I'm like, are we sure that Jamal Dean and all these guys are going to be, good for the entire year? So in the defensive line, you got Steve McClendon, but he hasn't really shown a bunch. That loss of Vita Vea was proved very valuable to them. And yeah, Shaquille Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, they're a championship defense. They just need to come into form, and you play the Lions this week. I think that they can do that. So Buccaneers at number 7. I'm not counting out Tom Brady. The only place I'm scared for them to play is Green Bay in the cold. And, they crush Green Bay. So I think that they have their number. Number 6 on my list is the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're a smidge better than Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their defense is coming into form. They're number 1 in sacks since like week 10. Jamal Adams is pretty good. The defense just needs to get stops. You'll see that as a trend here. You're not going to have any elite defenses in the top of the league. You're going to have, all right defenses. And the offenses just score more points. That's today's NFL. Offense scores more points, and defense, just holds them up. That's what Seattle does. And you think the offense is really going to struggle for this long? You have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. They're going to come into their own. They're just getting Josh Gordon back. Don't forget about that. The offensive line, especially with the injuries, does concern me a little bit, but I have to have Seattle number 6. They have the experience. They have everything like that. They're number 6 on my list. Number 5 is the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Steelers did not make my list. They're pretty much 8. They're pretty much tied with the Buccaneers, I think. But I have to have the Ravens here. Offensive line kind of concerns me, but Lamar Jackson, just his pure ability to run. I thought I was going to come out to something creative there, but no, he can just run. The defense is pretty good, and you could see the stats. They haven't really been overwhelming so far this year. Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate. He's looking for something to prove this offseason. He lost to the Chargers, and then he lost to the Titans. And yeah, I think he has something to prove. This defense is coming into shape. Yannick Ngakoue, a pretty good front. Injuries on the secondary is, kind of give me a little bit of concerns, but I trust their coaching. And nobody wants to play the Ravens in the playoffs unless you're a Titans. They're like, oh yeah, it's the Ravens. We've already beat them before. We beat them twice in the past 2 years. Number 4 is the Saints. Now, the Saints are up here because of their defense. Whenever I question Drew Brees, it usually goes the opposite way. Now, this year, I embraced them. I said that they'd go 12-4. That was my pick for them. I had them winning the division. That's about where they are. But the defense, a lot of people say they're their best defense in the league. They take a lot of penalties. That's something to look at. Can the defense be buttoned up? In the playoffs, those penalties could be costly. We saw, or those non-penalties, I guess, we saw with the Rams versus the Saints in the NFC Championship game. But Drew Brees, he's coming healthy. They're not going to have a bye week. So Drew Brees has had 5 past bye weeks, but he's coming off of rib injuries. He gets bad. He gets licked the wrong way. One game. Good thing about the NFC, you don't really have that many vaunting defensive fronts. The best I think you can have, the most concern is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who you beat twice. You think you're going to beat them 3 times. And then maybe the Seattle Seahawks-ish, maybe. But there's no defensive fronts where you're scared, especially in the playoffs. The Eagles, defensive fronts like that. They're not going to make the playoffs. I guess Washington as well. But yeah, so they're number 4. Number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. Now, a lot of people are overreacting to them. I think they could be good. But I have them here right now because do we trust Josh Allen to not mess up? He's going to be motivated, like Lamar Jackson, in the postseason to avenge his loss against the Deshaun Watson-led Houston Titans. I guess the Houston Oilers, too. But the Houston Texans. And yeah, so last playoffs, he showed up really, really well, and he's on fire right now. Can they carry that momentum? I don't know, but they're well coached. Their defense is playing real well, and you need to take a look at the stats. I'm putting on the screen. A couple of them are very interesting. The defense struggled towards the beginning of the year, but they're starting to wind down. They're starting to come into their own. Yeah, so I have the Buffalo Bills at number 3. Number 2 on my list is the Green Bay Packers. They're ahead of the Chiefs. They're here because Aaron Rodgers, he's playing well this year, unlike last year. They don't have to play the 49ers, another team like that, where they have just bad visions and bad omens against, I guess. But maybe the Buccaneers are that team. But Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in the playoffs, like, people forget about that. Man, Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in the playoffs would be so much fun. I think that would happen after the first round, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, so Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes you don't really look at those matchups, and you realize afterwards, like, Tom Brady just played Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty sick. It's only happened 3 times in their entire careers. I'm very much looking forward to it if it happens. And, run game solid, better up in the trenches. They know their weaknesses, but Matt LaFleur has done some impressive things with this team. They're number 1 seed in the NFC, and they get a bye. And they have one of the best home field advantages in the league, and that's because it's cold. It's not really too much because of the fans. The fans do help, but it's because of that cold, and it's what they're used to. You think the New Orleans Saints are going to come into there, Drew Brees, freezing his face off, and when it's negative 2 degrees, yeah, that's not going to happen. And then number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. I do have to say a lot about this team. I'll put the stats on the screen. I'll belabor it a little bit, but they're one of the best teams in the league. Vegas is betting them against the field for the Super Bowl. So all 31 teams / I guess 15 teams that are still kind of fighting for it. The sharp bettors are betting the Chiefs over it, but we all know in the NBA the best team wins. In the NFL, sometimes the best team doesn't win, because ball balance is one way. The NBA, it's a 7-game series, so it's just like the best team is going to win every single time in the NBA, but not the NFL. Last year the Kansas City Chiefs ended up being the best team, but you really think the Giants in 2012 were the best team? You really think the Ravens in 2013 were the best team? I don't think so. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Everyone knows about Patrick Mahomes. I had him as my MVP to start the season. I had him at 50 touchdowns. He's going to be near that, but actually not really. He's like 38 or something. It's going to be very close. The top 3 teams have the top 3 MVP candidates. Derrick Henry kind of getting snubbed a little bit as far as like the conversation. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.